A lot of fun, weird stories today, but I'll start with a quick look at late night. Jimmy Kimmel was talking about the Republicans' resistance to getting the vaccine and said, suddenly they're against bearing their own arms. In fairness, they've been fed such nonsense from their Fox and Friends. Think about it. This is what they've heard. The pandemic isn't a big deal. It'll wash away. It's no worse than the flu, but it was created by China to destroy us. Which is it? Is it Trump not getting the credit he deserves for manufacturing the vaccine? Or is this how Bill Gates controls our minds? Trevor Noah understands that former President Trump would like credit for the virus. He said the vaccines were a scientific miracle developed in record time on his watch. You can't deny that. But that's what makes it so weird that he's not out there promoting the vaccine. Like when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, he went and held the trophy and celebrated with his team. He wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to sneak out the back. Don't tell anybody I was here. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel has a challenge for Donald Trump Jr. Jr. was on Fox News complaining about Biden, saying that Biden's first 2 months in office were, quote, the most disastrous first 60 days in the history of American politics and certainly the presidency. Jimmy Kimmel said, name 10 presidents. Go ahead, please. We'll wait. From The Hollywood Reporter, David Hasselhoff is going meta. He's doing a new German TV series in which he will star as David Hasselhoff. The plot of the dark comedy on which David Hasselhoff plays David Hasselhoff sees David Hasselhoff cast in a theater play in Germany, only to be caught up in an international conspiracy of former Cold War assassins. I'm in. I don't get the Z network, but hopefully Netflix will throw this up on the States and we can watch it. Not sure this is comedy, but it's so bizarre I'm going to share it. From the AV Club, let me just read it. They wrote, we can now, and we're indebted to Oates of Hall and Oates for bringing this to our attention. It's a video of Oates and a Sasquatch playing Maneater. AV Club writes, it's not being played by a saxophone playing Sasquatch while trying to replicate some kind of half-ass EDM beat to the reasons Maneater works so well. If you don't believe us, watch the video in which Oates and Sasquatch play a song to paraphrase Douglas Adams. Sounds almost, but not quite entirely, unlike Maneater. The AV Club adds, for all we know, Sasquatch may be a truly excellent saxophonist for a Sasquatch. Meanwhile, Oates serves up a stirring reminder of why he's best known as the guitarist for Hall and Oates and not, say, the singer. The end result is at best inoffensive, and only then when you're not constantly being reminded to you that you could be listening to Maneater. But even beyond the song, we find our minds reeling with questions. The first question that comes to mind, they write, is why? But then a deeper bout of self/Sasquatch examination sets in. Why did this duo feel the need to promote the video with a Forbes interview? One that contains the immortal line, you know, an interview is special when Sasquatch has both Oates and I cracking up. Is the implication that Sasquatch is himself a man-eater and will messily devour Oates once the recording is complete? Why are there little cartoon Daft Punk robots dancing in the video? These are the questions that keep us up at night, draining us, rendering us weak. So Sasquatch and Oates man-eater is what you want to Google on the interwebs. From The Independent, buckle your seatbelts. A new CBS comedy about an Afghan military interpreter moving to the U.S. has sparked a backlash online. I've told you about this sitcom. It's called The United States of Al. The show is described as a comedy about the friendship between a Marine combat veteran and his Afghan interpreter who he served with and who arrives with in the U.S. to start a new life. All right, that seems pretty good. The show, which has a laugh track, was slammed on social media after the official trailer dropped online. The trailer shows Riley meeting Al at the airport after Al arrives in the U.S. Al says, I want to see everything. Washington, D.C., Las Vegas. And what's the name of the place that sells peanut butter and brings it to you on a forklift? And Riley says, Costco. Yeah, right there. That writing is a crime against humanity. I'm with the people that are outraged. Let's cancel this immediately. We need to make room on the schedule for Sarah Cooper's new sitcom anyway. So let's cancel United States of Al just for that horrible Costco joke. Human rights lawyer and author Qasim Rashid tweeted, this is so ridiculous and offensive. I don't have the words to express just how terribly bad this is on every conceivable level. Writer Rekha Shankar tweeted, can someone tell Chuck Lorre, the producer, that what if a white person liked a brown person is not a TV show concept? Satirist Carl Shoro wrote, the 3 stages of the U.S. military entertainment complex. First, they invade your country. Then they make movies about how much it hurt them. Then they turn into the setup for a stereotypical sitcom. One of the show's executive producers, Reza Aslan, took to Twitter to defend it. He tweeted, maybe learn a little about the show, its creators, its producers, its 4 Afghan writers, its plot, and pretty much everything else before you announce your opinion of it. Just a thought. I'm going to announce my opinion. That Costco joke is terrible. Let's cancel it and make room for Sarah Cooper's sitcom. I got a podcast to fill 7 days a week. You don't think I want that Sarah Cooper sitcom on the air like right now? I do. From the Chicago Tribune, director Chris Columbus revealed that an R-rated version of Mrs. Doubtfire exists. Columbus explained that the numerous cuts came as a result of Robin Williams asking to, quote, let me play. After he did a few scripted takes, he would then go on for 15 to 22 takes with his own improvised lines. Columbus told Entertainment Weekly he would sometimes go into territory that wouldn't be appropriate for a PG-13 movie, but certainly and appropriately hilariously funny for an R-rated film. It's unlikely that an R-rated edition of Mrs. Doubtfire will get released. Columbus said, I would be open to maybe doing a documentary about the making of the film and enabling people to see certain scenes re-edited in an R-rated version. Oh, just make it. We've got streaming services and nobody's made anything. This could be like the Snyder Cut for Mrs. Doubtfire. Let's do it. From LA Weekly, headline, for comedian George Lopez, good food is no joke. And then I left myself a note when I saw the story last week, so don't go doing a podcast using your sarcastic Reed voice. For someone who was afraid of his own shadow as a child, George Lopez has fearlessly taken on and succeeded in 2 of the most challenging businesses there are, stand-up comedy and food and beverage, both of which yield the same results, a smile on somebody's face. George Lopez hints that he's ready to hang up his mic as the pandemic has allowed him to devote time to his 3 Chingon restaurants and the release of his first 4 Ta Loco cervezas from George Lopez Brewing Company, not to be confused with the Michael Scott Paper Company. George Lopez recently launched a line of Chingon Kitchen carne asada and pollo asado. You guys know this. I told you about this. I did a whole episode about it. Prepared meals inspired by his abuela, now available at all Southern California Food for Less, Superior Grocers, and Cardenas Market locations. George says everything starts with the tortilla. If that's not good, nothing that touches it is going to be good. I learned that in the kitchen of a small tract home in Mission Hills a long time ago. His grandmother would make picadillo, which is like a stew made out of ground beef, onions, tomatoes, cilantro. She'd make fideo with angel hair pasta and Spanish rice with no peas. The rice was made with chicken broth. She boiled for hours. She made the beans with bacon. I love this next paragraph. Ready for this? You're not. My beer's got a nice kick to it, says the former Little Leaguer and San Fernando high school student. Thanks for throwing that in there. My experience with beer growing up was Moosehead, Foster's, Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull, and one of my buddy Eddie Van Halen's favorites, Colt 45. Can we just unpack that? We worked in that he went to a particular high school, played Little League, and he was pals with Eddie Van Halen. What is going on? With the help of Stone Brewery, George Lopez has refined his palate, looking for a beer that tastes more like a 50-50 bar or an orange creamsicle than a Mickey's Big Mouth. Plus, George Lopez insists on drinking from a nicely chilled glass. The Writers Guild of America has crowned Apple TV Plus's hit Ted Lasso as both best comedy and best new series. I've been telling you to stop listening to my stupid podcast and watch Ted Lasso. It was the best thing that happened in 2020. Go watch it. Jason Sudeikis said, it's incredible to be selected by our fellow peers, our writers, our brothers and sisters in this crazy part of our business of show. So thank you for choosing us, for ticking the box, in the majority at least. I assume not everybody did. I mean, right? That'd be nuts. What if I did assume that? Thank you to everyone. While you're watching stuff, I watched Nate Bargatze's new special again. It is on Netflix. I watched it with the wife this time. She also enjoyed it. So you've got some homework. Ted Lasso and Nate Bargatze, and someday a David Hasselhoff sitcom, but definitely not United States of Al. We are not watching that. Did you vote yet for Comedy's Top Dog this week? Dave Chappelle is your defending champion. He is taking on Eddie Murphy. 1997, Titan 74 says, I guess I choose the one who roasts for Bob's Burgers, LOL. Come on, man. There's no Bob's Burgers. We'll talk about that in a second. Nobody does that, so Dave wins again. Jerry McLean wrote, dang, dude, you came hard this time. I'm going to stick with Dave, though. Just because we're nearly the same age, so it feels like we grew up together. Then Jerry and I went back and forth. She scared me. I thought Dave Chappelle was Eddie Murphy's age. Dave Chappelle is not Eddie Murphy's age. Dave Chappelle is Jerry's age. But I'm worried about Geri. I feel like the Bob's Burgers mafia got to her. Now, listeners to this show know that Bob's Burgers is just a hoax by Fox. I know that they promote it. I've seen animation cells. I get all that. But have you ever actually seen an episode of Bob's Burgers? The answer is no. And have you ever met anyone who has seen an episode of Bob's Burgers? The answer to that is also no. Geri tweeted, I've seen Bob's Burgers in the UK. It was years ago, but ask any British fans that had a Sky subscription. All right, British fans, I'm asking you, have you seen Bob's Burgers? Because I know the answer is no. And do you know anyone who has ever seen Bob's Burgers? The answer is no. I think the Bob's Burgers Mafia has gotten to Geri. I don't know what they have on her or her family, but we may have to rescue her because there is no such show as Bob's Burgers. Now, I even went as far on my Instagram at Daily Comedy News, and I saw on the TV listings, and I've seen this before, Fox on Sunday night was claiming to air an episode of Bob's Burgers. This would have been supposedly season 11, episode 15. You want to tell me Bob's Burgers has been on Fox for a decade and none of us has ever seen it? This is a hoax. Now, I was watching some other stuff. I kept going by Fox. Every time I did, they were in commercial. I think Fox just sells 30 minutes of commercials to advertisers who don't bother to check. They just think Bob's Burgers is in season 11. They know nobody watches it. They know everybody switches the channel, either to football or the other night they were probably watching NCAA basketball. 30 minutes of commercials. There's no Bob's Burgers, so we got to help Geri out. Different Geri Seinfeld was on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. This from the Laugh Button. Geri was asked what he would be doing right now if he weren't doing comedy. Geri revealed he would have written funny articles for a car magazine. Comedy did work out for Jerry Seinfeld, but he did eventually write one article for a car magazine in 2003. I'm going to have to find that and do a filler episode one of these days. He won a medal for it, which hangs behind him in his office. From Variety, Meghan Trainor is now all about the laughs. The singer has signed a major overall deal with NBC Universal TV that includes a comedy series. She will star and help develop the sitcom for NBC, but there's no concept or writers attached just yet. Somebody signed on to untitled, unpremised Meghan Trainor sitcom. Why? Why would you do that? Well, a suit says, we love the idea of introducing Meghan into the world of scripted comedy, as well as working with her to find all the creative and crazy ways she can engage with fans across our brands. Oh, the corporate speak. I want to throw up from that sentence. Engage with our fans across all our brands. With 8 distinct platforms, we're able to provide the ultimate playground for multi-hyphenate artists. I just want to puke from this press release. Ugh. And this is just one of the ways we're leveraging our new structure to benefit both talent and audiences. Who is this? This is such a non-creative person. This is the chairman of entertainment content, NBC Universal TV and streaming. Oh, what a suit. I guess I'm not working for NBC, but I want to throw up from that sentence. And I promised yesterday I would finish up with Munawar Faruqi. He's the guy that did time in jail for the jokes he didn't see. This from Vice. Faruqi says, if someone is angry, who should I be apologizing to? There aren't 1 billion people watching me. There are about 1 million viewers, of which 90% actually like the work I do. Should I be apologizing to the 10% who don't? What will that make the others think of me? And how does one even apologize on the internet? A few days later, a new person will find the video, not the apology, and will abuse me again. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your shows. If you'd like to support the show and you'd like to buy me a coffee, it's buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. And vote Dave Chappelle versus Eddie Murphy, who is comedy's top dog. Instagram at Daily Comedy News. See you tomorrow. Geri, we're coming. We're sending a rescue party. Hang tight.